Since Saturday, 3 people have been killed and hundreds evacuated their homes after a large ocean swell reached the Pacific coast from Mexico to Chile, with waves recorded reaching up to 10 meters high.
5 people have died following dangerous storms in the Australian state of Queensland. More than 36 centimetres of rain fell when the storm hit on Friday, most of that falling in just 3 hours.
Thursday's 4.0 magnitude, the highest ever recorded in North Texas.
It was scary. Me and my son, both of our hands were shaking. We had butterflies in our stomach.
The National Weather Service says at least 50 tornadoes were reported, spread across more than 460 miles from Oklahoma to Nebraska. Bridge Creek, Oklahoma was one of the hardest hit towns. More than 1,500 homes and farms damaged or destroyed.
Some places got 5 to 8 inches of rain.
For the first time ever, the National Weather Service issued that flash flood emergency for the Oklahoma City metro area.
Noel is lashing the northern Philippines with sustained winds of 160 miles per hour. Forecasts call for as much as 20 inches of rain in 2 days.
Extreme weather now from the Rockies to the East Coast, making a mess for millions of people, from a rare May snowfall to dangerous flooding and tornadoes in the Midwest. The first named tropical storm of the season washes ashore on the East Coast.
It's unusual to have a tropical storm so early in the year.
The tornado outbreak deadly already, at least 5 dead, and now the search for the missing tonight.
Over 140 tornado reports since the outbreak began.
There goes the school! There goes the school!
And this was the scene in Lake City, Iowa. Sunday evening, a tornado tore through the South Central Calhoun High School while 100 people were attending an award ceremony inside.
Tornado turns deadly in Cisco. 1 person dead, another critically hurt.
Van, Texas, hit so hard by tornadoes overnight. 10 people still missing. Local reports of multiple fatalities.
We're under a flash flood watch now for another system coming into Texas, as if they haven't had enough rain.
Flooding in Texas, where the National Guard sent helicopters to airlift people from rural areas in the northern part of the state that had become inundated.
That's pretty amazing.
I don't even know how to describe it.
The city says it started as a sinkhole, then turned into a landslide, severing underground sewer and water lines as it crumbled.
Meanwhile, the Colorado foothills experienced snow in May. This winter storm and spring caused slick roads and several accidents, and in lower-lying areas, there were flash floods. Western parts of South Dakota also got snow, while the eastern part of that state experienced a tornado.
बिरलै भोग्नुपर्ने
Special being व्यवस्थापित
This is probably okay. Let's.
The United States Geological Survey says a new earthquake of 7.4 magnitude has struck between Kathmandu and Mount Everest. The quake comes less than 3 weeks after the impoverished country was devastated by a 7.8 magnitude quake, which killed at least 8,000 people and injured more than 17,800. It was felt as far apart as New Delhi and Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh.
Costa.
Spain is in the midst of one of the worst spring heat waves of the last decades, with temperatures reaching up to 40 degrees Celsius in the south and on the Mediterranean coast.
flooding in California overnight. Heavy rain pounding San Diego and Fresno, triggering mudslides, forcing some evacuations, and more than 20 million Americans in the path of that severe weather right now.
Look at this. This is out of Los Angeles. About 3/4 of an inch of rain there. That is a record setter. Matter of fact, blew out the old record by 2,000%.
Smoke could be seen 10 miles away, and flames roared more than 50 feet in the air and took down power lines. That was the result of lightning striking 10 battery tanks filled with oil and salt water near Banquetti.
We've seen several lightning strike around us, just being here in the last 5 minutes or so. Oh, there it is. Did y'all see that? Lightning that's been striking right near that area over and over again.
Residents of Konya province, southern Turkey, have described their terror when a giant sinkhole suddenly appeared in a local field. Measuring 10 meters wide and 90 meters deep, the crater formed in the space of 24 hours.
Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming to Minnesota.
29 tornadoes in the last 24 hours. In Texas alone, 64 in the past 2 weeks.
This tornado hitting Geronimo. A cone of powerful winds destroying this home near Elmer.
Holy that thing is big.
Oklahoma getting hit too. In Norman, torrential downpours.
In 24 hours, San Angelo got the most rain it's seen in 35 years. It was waist high in Louisiana thanks to record rain.
I have never seen this much rain. I've been in Shreveport for 32 years.
Storm reports, we had over 170 of them. We mentioned the tornadoes, huge hail, in some cases, baseball-size hail.
Oh, dude, we're going to take some baseballs here.
Oh, Jesus! Oh!
Colorado is also getting a drenching.
Here in downtown Denver, the water is rising too. You can see they have totally overflowed their banks. Normally, it looks like this.
And in the Rockies, a snowstorm just a month away from summer.
Massive landslide triggered by heavy rains in northwest Colombia has killed at least 40 people, with authorities warning the death toll is expected to rise.
Arabalar geliyor. Eyvah eyvah, eyvah arabalar gidiyor.
Here's the stairs to the basement. It's full to the top.
Oh, it was just gushing down, and there's some places like where that tree is there, the water would come down and it'd go up 6 feet, just go up, gosh, go up, gosh.
This is supposed to be British Columbia's desert climate. And it's, yeah, no one's ever seen anything hit this fast.
It is the deadliest natural disaster in the United States this year. The flooding in Texas and Oklahoma is now blamed for at least 26 deaths. 13 people are missing. 35 trillion gallons of rain has fallen in Texas this month, enough to cover the nation's second largest state in 8 inches of water. The Houston area is facing a major disaster. More than half a foot of rain pounded America's 4th largest city. The currents were strong enough to sweep homes off their foundation.
The trail of damage is clear where an F1 tornado touched down Sunday morning in southwest Houston. Many of the 24 buildings that make up the Rockport apartment homes were shredded.
Rivers in Austin were already overflowing from one of the city's wettest May on record. On Monday, they spilled out onto the streets.
This is the highest flood that we've ever had in recorded history in the state of Texas.
In Dallas, floodwaters blocked thousands of cars on a freeway for up to 6 hours as rainfall reached almost 18 centimeters.
Rescue crews in Wimberley are searching for 12 people still missing after floodwaters swept through the small town. More than 70 homes were destroyed here, with at least 1,200 more damaged.
This is how tornadoes and record rainfall have left the Lone Star State. More than 1,000 homes damaged or destroyed and thousands of residents displaced.
We've been in a drought for quite some time now, and all of a sudden we went from having not enough water to way too much.
He needs to get out. He's lucky he got to get out. He can get out. Oh shit, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Freak tornado has ripped through a border city in northern Mexico, leaving more than a dozen people dead and many more injured.
Melting roads in New Delhi as temperatures neared 50 degrees Celsius.
The heat has now claimed 1,700 lives in just 1 week, the highest numbers of deaths since 1995. The searing weather has left tens of thousands of people in New Delhi without power supply.
merciless, massive tornadoes.
Tornado on the ground!
Ripping across Colorado.
Oh, it's violent.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And near Denver, you can see the aftermath. Dozens of homes and farms destroyed, this house completely gutted. And it wasn't just tornadoes. Torrential rain and hail, hammering drivers. Overnight, a series of vicious storms tearing through Nevada. Overnight in Kansas, drivers unable to see the roads. And in Missouri, water has taken over many of the roadways, making travel dangerous.
This is something like from hell.
People shoveling their cars out to get to work today. The hail only fell on one block like this, Alaska Avenue and Irving Street.
It started late last night as a rainstorm. In the early hours this morning, morphed into a winter wonderland. The extremely slow-moving storm unloaded its crystallized cargo in one very small and localized spot.
This morning, this is the sinkhole on Oxford and Santa Fe this morning. That police SUV inside the sinkhole swallowed up as the ground just gave out below the driver.
48 hours of extreme weather during our interview with the storm chaser.
So that we can...
Bolts of lightning, golf ball-sized hail. Tonight, Lusk is underwater.
That bridge over there is starting to collapse.
Here's the bridge, completely collapsed.
I've never seen this before.
Flipped cars littering downtown after being washed away in raging water.
Larry!
This was the scene in Rainbow City, Alabama Tuesday morning after lightning sparked an apartment fire. The building was completely destroyed. Devastating scene in Louisiana where streets have been turned into lakes. Hundreds of homes have been flooded, some completely underwater. This was the scene in Shreveport after the Red River crested 7 feet above flood stage, the highest level it's been since 1945.
The early afternoon blast ripped part of the roof off the Quantum Energy Storage Building and was heard in many neighboring business offices.
It was a boom, boom. It was just, and then it shook.
It felt like either a jet plane or something had come over and hit a sonic boom.
My first thought was either a vehicle crashed into our building or possibly even the air conditioning unit had fallen through the roof.
Thousands of people are being evacuated to safer areas from the danger zone around Mount Sinabung in North Sumatra after the volcano's alert status was raised to the top level before an eruption. Following a big increase in activity at Sinabung,
Heavy rain started just before midnight. This small waterway in the city became a raging river. 8 people have died and several others still missing. The city's zoo was also flooded, so wolves, bears, big cats, tigers, and even this hippopotamus escaped and have been roaming parts of the city. Astounding stuff. It just shows you how intense those floods actually were.
A rare and spectacular occurrence, a winter whiteout in the red centre. The normally harsh, scorched earth of Alice Springs transformed during a freak hailstorm, tourists and locals stunned.
In just 24 hours, one wildfire in Alaska started after a lightning strike. Went from 2 acres to more than 6,500 acres. A second has started south of Alaska's largest city, and a third near the village of Dot Lake. The fires have displaced hundreds of people. Record-breaking temperatures this past May amid a late spring heat wave.
At Indian Hills, and it smells like propane. I don't know if you can see it, but if you look right across, right above the green, there's this haze that looks like a gas.
Heavy rainfall continues in southern China, where mudslides and flooding have caused the deaths of at least 10 people. The torrential downpours have washed out roads and farmlands, and more than 500,000 people in 8 provinces have been affected.
The rainfall in the first week of June has reached a record high.
Life-threatening floods from Texas to Illinois. Storms dropping up to a foot of rain in some areas, shutting down roads and highways.
Torrential rain from Tropical Storm Bill surging north. Powerful floodwaters here in Ardmore, sweeping a toddler out of her father's arms. In Turner Falls Park, floodwaters rampaging through trees and nearly over that fence. Flash flooding, trapping this driver in his SUV. He and his dog abandoning the car. This Indiana neighborhood completely flooded, and more rain expected today. Tornado warnings issued in South Dakota. An incredible light show seen there.
frightening sight taking shape in South Florida. Several waterspouts showing up over Fort Lauderdale.
What a bizarre story out of Fort Lauderdale this morning. People out here say they saw up to 4 waterspouts at one time.
Extreme weather with more than 40 million Americans at risk for flooding or severe storms.
Texas cannot catch a break. The Guadalupe River flooding, rushing water flowing over its banks. A severe thunderstorm plunging Kansas City International Airport into darkness.
It's a virtual water world in parts of Texas.
It's getting a lot worse, man, for sure.
North of Dallas, more flash flooding rain. This bridge collapsing into the South Sulphur River. A boy getting sucked into that culvert. Witnesses racing to help him. Overnight, intense lightning brightening dark skies across the country, hitting the John Hancock Building in Chicago, and non-stop flashes in D.C. South Dakota, baseball-sized hail crashing to the ground.
That biggest one's 3 inches in diameter.
Heavy rains causing roadway closures in Missouri. Remnants of Tropical Storm Bill forcing fire crews to rescue people from flooded homes in Illinois.
A Spillertown couple woke up to a terrifying sight just outside their house. A sinkhole has opened up just feet from their back door.
James Swan says Saturday you couldn't see the water through all the trees lining this pond. But Tuesday, those trees had vanished into a 40-foot wide sinkhole.
More than 400 people have died so far in a heat wave in southern Pakistan. Temperatures have soared above 45 degrees Celsius or 113 Fahrenheit.
Look at that! That's freaking nuts! This is a tornado! Oh, shit!
Violent storms striking the East Coast. Amtrak passengers stuck on the tracks for hours after a transformer exploded in the heavy winds. All this as power lines snapped in half with winds reaching 70 miles per hour.
Nearly 500,000 people left in the dark.
I've never seen anything like this.
In New Jersey, heavy winds flipped this car over. Parts of this shopping center severely damaged.
It was crazy winds. They were coming straight down the street.
Across Pennsylvania, trees uprooted, some ending up in houses. And check out this lightning flashing behind our capital as those storms reach the East Coast.
5 tornadoes are believed to have touched down in northern and central Illinois.
The storm roared into Coal City around 10 o'clock last night. Refugio Luvano was in his house Monday, just as he was in 2013 when an EF4 touched down in Coal City. It demolished his home. That home is not even finished being rebuilt.
parts of India's northwest is underwater after days of heavy rain triggered floods and landslides, killing dozens of people.
Overnight, up to 5 inches of blinding rain across Iowa. Severe storms with incredible structure. In Denver,
came out of nowhere, a lot of hail, a lot of rain.
2 inches of rain falling in just an hour. Flash floods stranding drivers, leaving their cars behind.
He is done. He is done. Oh my God.
In California, the scorching heat and persistent drought fueling the worst fire season conditions ever.
California firefighters are battling a new wildfire this morning. The Sterling fire broke out yesterday in the San Bernardino Mountains. More than 70% of California is currently dealing with extreme or exceptional drought conditions.
Firefighters here in the San Bernardino Mountains have been fighting this fire for more than a week now. It's one of some 2,500 fires that have broken out in California so far this year. CAL FIRE, California's statewide fire agency, reports there's already been a 50% increase in the number of fires this year compared to 2014.
Washington has already seen 313 wildfires. That alone speaks volumes. Last year at this time, it was 214. In 2012, it was 155. And in 2011, just 55.
One look at this 15-foot wide depression in the driveway of this Port Richey home was enough for police and fire rescue to start issuing voluntary evacuation orders for 10 homes, and that's depressions, plural. This one in the front, another in the back. All the result, investigators say, of this home 2 lots over that's been undergoing ground repairs for 3 sinkholes on their property when the ground gave way nearby this afternoon.
Severe flooding due to heavy rain has caused widespread damage to roads and homes in Costa Rica. Landslides have collapsed bridges, interrupted communications and forced more than 1,500 people to seek alternative accommodation.
Going on in the waters off North Carolina. Overnight, news of a teen viciously attacked by a shark. The 6th time in just 2 weeks, visitors to North Carolina beaches have been seriously injured by the deadly predators.
It was what we'd classify as a firestorm.
The Sleepy Hollow fire is still burning, now more than 3,000 acres, with entire subdivisions evacuated.
At least 24 homes are completely gone. This fire has torched at least 3,000 acres, nearly 3 square miles. It was so intense, embers blew all the way downtown and caught the recycling center on fire. Winds whipped the flames up in record heat temperatures, topping 104 degrees.
Wild hail across several parts of the country. In Prescott, Arizona, look at this. It looks like snow on the ground. Minneapolis, St. Paul, that area had 2 rounds of hail last night, one right during rush hour.
Half a year's worth of rain in just 1 month. The city of Nanjing has been hit by relentless downpours. The Nanjiang County of Sichuan Province has seen its heaviest flooding in nearly 7 decades.
What the hell is that, a meteor?
Damn. Damn, that's crazy. Going out. That is unreal. That was awesome. I've never seen anything like that before. Have you either?